Snare Saturday. Hope y'all doing well. How y'all doing? See if I can get the chat to come up here. We are live from PASIC 50 here in Indianapolis, and I am currently at the Ludwig booth because I want to show you all a few snare drums that they currently have on display for you guys to check out, and some things that you guys should just be made aware of. It's quiet time right now in the booth or in the exhibitor hall. However, it's gonna get pretty noisy pretty quickly. What's going on, Spags? Good to see y'all. So feel free, leave some comments. Y'all do your thing. What's up, Wade? Good to see you too. As we're going through this, just remember, I'm doing this with an iPhone. I can't see you guys, but I'm gonna be looking at this stuff and showing you the gear that is here. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves, right? Like his teachers say, and I'll come back and forth and we'll showcase all of this. But again, I am currently live at PASIC 50 here in Indianapolis. I am currently in the Ludwig booth, and it's quiet time, probably for the next couple minutes until 10:15. So I can talk as much as I can, and then once that 10:15 mark hits, I can then start tapping on the drums so you can kind of hear what they sound like as best as you can through this microphone that we have right here, and you know, without it being professional audio. So let me turn the camera around so y'all can see. Here are the drums that we're gonna be taking a look at today, and there are 5 different models. Let's go ahead and start with the ones at the very top. So over here on the far right top, we have a Acro Bronze. This is a 6.5 by 14 shell. It has 10 lugs, double-sided bow tie lugs. Ludwig's this is the different throw off. It's not the P88 throw off. I think this is what, the P84, the updated version of it, right? Hey, what's going on, Curtis? Wade might have all of these. That's true, Spags. So this is the P87 throw off is what this one is. It's the new one. They have updated this so it doesn't fall when you are playing it. Way more sturdy, allows you to disengage the snare wires without any issue. The next drum over here, good old reliable, 6.5 by 14 Ludwig Acrolite. Again, this is a 10 lug drum because it is a newer Acrolite, double-sided bow tie lugs. The P88 AC throw off here on the back side, way more durable than the older throw offs. Allows you, if you want to, you can put one of these on any Ludwig drum that was drilled for a P84 or P80, the older P87s, anything like that. And the best part about it is that they have those locking notches built in, right? So you never have to worry about the wires slipping as you're playing through. Then we have this one over here, which I was stoked to finally see in person, the Split Coliseum, the limited edition version. Only 100 have ever been made. There are a few that are still available if you are interested in one. These are 10 double-sided lugs, die-cast hoops on the top and the bottom. Once again, outfitted with the P88 AC throw-off right here. And as you can currently hear, quiet time is over, so people are gonna come out and chop and do their thing. These come with CS dot on the top, regular Ambassador or Ludwig on the bottom. And then coming over here, bottom row, we have hammered, Superphonic, and Black Beauty. So the one here is a 6.5 by 14 hammered Superphonic, 10 Imperial lugs, triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom. Ludwig's P88 AC throw off like all of the other ones. Ludwig coated head on the top and snare side head on the bottom. You can see over here, Remo head, so most likely coated Ambassador, and then an Ambassador snare side on the bottom. Since this is a newer Superphonic, they do have the gaskets behind the lugs. Some folks are saying all the time that that does make the drum sound a bit drier. Other folks are taking the newer drums and taking the gaskets off to get the shells to open up a little bit. And then finally, over here, we have another hammered shell. This time it's a hammered Black Beauty. So here we have another 10 lug drum, double-sided Imperial lugs on the top and the bottom. again, Ludwig's P88 AC throw-off. This is outfitted with triple flange hoops as well. And this one has the Ludwig Weathermaster heavy head on the top and a Weathermaster snare side head on the bottom. So as we're going through, I have a stick with me here, and I'll back up a little bit so y'all can see a bit better. But we'll go through and we'll tap all the drums so you guys can kind of hear what they sound like as best as you can in a exhibit hall that's going to get louder and louder, and we'll go from there. So let's start with this Acro Bronze. Again, 6.5 by 14, 10 double-sided bow tie lugs. The P87, updated P87 throw off over here. And this one is my favorite in the Acrolite series currently. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. We have another Acrolite here, 6.5 by 14. Again, it has 10 double-sided bow tie lugs, triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom. And you can hear this is tuned pretty low, and I like that it's tuned low. As you all know, I prefer snares to be a little bit higher in pitch, but especially with this 6.5 shell being raw aluminum, it's got a ton of body to it, which is awesome, especially for an Acrolite. That drum seems like it would be super versatile for if you're doing anything, any style of music. You can tune it low, has a lot of body and beef to it. You could tune it up higher. And yeah, that could definitely become a new workhorse for somebody if they're looking for a new drum that can be really versatile. Now, I know this split Coliseum we're all dying to hear, right? So why don't we save it till the very end? And the really rad thing about this is that this is a cast shell. Look at how thick this is. It's ridiculous how that is. And for those of you who are looking to pull the trigger on one of these, I would totally do it. As far as the price is concerned, I'm not too sure because where we are right now, I can't pull anything up on the internet to try and get a street price or anything like that. But what I do know, like I mentioned earlier, these are limited to only a 100, and there are a few that are still available. So if this is something you're looking to get, make sure that you contact a Ludwig sales dealer and get your hands on one before it's too late, or they hit the Reverb Marketplace for a ton of money. You know what? Let's play it. I want to play it before it gets even louder. Listen to how sensitive it is because it's a vented snare drum. Barely tapping it, and you can still get a ton of snare response from it. That's the beauty of a vented snare drum. Also, they're really, really loud. And again, this is tuned someone in that medium range. If I was to tune it up higher, you know this thing is gonna really start to scream, especially like any of those cast shells that you're seeing hit the market nowadays. Also, I'm pretty sure this thing is heavy. It's got a really heavy weight to it for sure. Wow. So this actually has a set of Pure Sound 42 strands on it. Get you that extra snare response too. Make sure we put that back. All right, so let's move over here. Again, hammered, superphonic, 10 lugs, imperial top and bottom, P88C strainer on the Acro Bronze. Yes, thank you for identifying that. I love the new ones. They've updated them to make sure that they don't disengage as you're playing, and they're so good, and it's such a smooth transition when you're engaging and disengaging over here. I mean, I can easily just flick it off with a thumb, re-engage it, and of course you can adjust the tension of the snare wires with the dial right here rather than being on top of the throw-off. They also did a really good job with the engraving on it too, to kind of give you that old school aesthetic with it. It's sweet. Spags, wow, 2K for the Coliseum. Thank you for getting that. That seems like it would be a drum that would be a collector's piece for sure, but you definitely want to play it as well. All right, so let's go back here. Again, 6.5 by 14, superphonic, chrome over aluminum shell. That's tuned up pretty high too. So to me, it sounds like with this 6.5 by 14 being hammered, it's drier. It's not ringing. It doesn't have that bite that you usually hear with a superphonic. And I would ask you guys what you think if you can hear it, with what y'all think about that. But again, it's pretty sensitive. Playing along the edge, you can still get the snare wire response. So if you like the sound of a superphonic, but maybe you don't like that they ring a little bit too much, so you might be putting moon gels on the top head or a thicker drum head, maybe certain drum heads that have holes in the top to dry out your drum. Maybe you want to look into getting a hammered superphonic instead, so it naturally dries out the drum a bit and gets you more of a direct tone. Finally, 5 by 14 Black Beauty. So this Black Beauty, again, is a hammered shell. It has 10 double-sided imperial lugs and triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom. And it's a 5 by 14 shell, and it's tuned where I think it's ideal to get that brass to be a little bit more resonant. Some folks say it can get annoying when it's in that range, but that's the sound of brass. It's black nickel over brass. As we all know, the Black Beauty often imitated and never ever duplicated. Yeah, Wade, I would say hammered snares. I don't own any, to be honest with you, but I was really liking that hammered superphonic. This Black Beauty has a great sound too. So you can hear, especially when you hit the drum, you got that bite at the beginning, but it does ring out a little bit at the end. But that's cool for a Black Beauty. And then of course, if you don't like how it sounds, you tune it up, adjust it to your preference, and go from there. Now, for those who are fans of hammered shells, there is another drum that I haven't shown you yet, which is the one that I used during my presentation on Thursday. So what we have here is a 5 by 14 hammered Acrolite. It's got 10 double-sided imperial lugs, triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom. Again, Ludwig's P88 AC throw-off. This drum, for my presentation, I put a CS dot on the top, CS coated on the top, Ambassador snare side on the bottom. So again, you can hear the drum has that Acrolite sound. It's hammered though, and it doesn't seem like it's as deep as say the Supra over there, but it does give you a little bit of a different sound out of the drum. So combining the hammered along with it being a 10 lug drum can dry it out compared to maybe some of those vintage Acrylites that are only 8 lug with internal dampeners, of course. So, wow, Wade, you have a hammered Black Beauty. That's amazing. That was one that I was always looking to get. A buddy of mine has a 5x14 hammered Black Beauty, and he went to our local Ludwig dealer. They had a hammered and a non-hammered and played them back and forth. And like he said, he was a huge fan of it because of the fact that it felt and sounded just a little bit drier than the other Black Beauty that wasn't hammered. So the final thing I want to show y'all, even though it's a Snare Saturday, is the kit that I used for my presentation. It was a Vistalite kit in a downbeat configuration. So we have a 20-inch kick drum, 12-inch rack, 14-inch floor tom. I outfitted this kit with white suede emperors on the top, ambassador clears on the bottom for the toms, and then for the kick drum we did a Power Stroke P3 clear. It sounds already pre-EQ'd in this room, just tuning it to make sure the drums sound the way that they're supposed to. And then of course, kick drum, right? If I put this down so y'all can see. Whoop. So here's what we have here at the Ludwig booth. The 5 snares here, once again, for those who might have tuned in a little bit late. We have a 6.5x14 Acro Bronze. We have a 6.5x14 Acro Bronze, 6.5x14 Acrolite, the Split Coliseum, the cast Split Coliseum, a 6.5x14 Hammered Superphonic, 5x14 Black Beauty, and then we also have the 5x14 Hammered Acrolite. And for those who might be into traditional concert snare drums or orchestral snare drums, we have a line of all of the symphonic snare drums that Ludwig has to offer in all different sizes. You can see that they are expanding this line to give more and more options for drummers to get the sounds that they want. But as you can also hear, it is getting mad loud in here. And with those drums, those are the ones you definitely want to check out in person and put them in a space where you can really start to mess with them, tune them up, get them to be where you want them to be so they can be really sensitive as you're playing, but at the same time, give you that attack and bite that you would want to get out of a snare drum, especially in a classical environment. So I'm gonna raise this up a little bit for y'all. We're gonna turn this around. So I hope you all enjoyed this. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, feel free to leave it in the comments section and I can go back and refer to it and get back to you on it. I'll also make sure that I put links to all of these drums in the description. After this video is done, you should be able to view it in that whole live setting. And just going through all of this, yeah, Spags, I'm with you. That Hammered Black Beauty, I'm sure, is amazing, Wade. Yeah, the Vistas do sound awesome, right? Especially a 20-inch kick drum, it was monstrous. And it's a 12 and a 14-inch. That 14-inch floor tom is unreal. I'm usually a fan of 16-inch floor toms, right? But 14 by 14, I mean, come on. Where else are you gonna get a 14 by 14 that sounds that monstrous, right? It's unreal. Curtis, I'm with you. Love the Vista sound. You know, loud and proud. Oh yeah, they put the Speed King on there. So it was cool. This kit's on display in the booth, right? and they outfitted it with the classic flat bass hardware, and they put a Speed King to go along with it. If some of you were unaware, Ludwig did release the Speed King, so you could still get one if that's something you're looking for. I myself prefer the Speed Flyer pedals. I love the Speed Flyer single and double. It's ridiculous the rebound that you start to get off of those things. So I'm with all of you. With that being said, YouTube just popped up and wanted me to ask you guys a question about like what your favorite song is, which I find pretty interesting. I would like to say, what is your favorite drum out of the ones you may have been able to hear? And again, it's now 10:31. It's gonna start getting louder and louder in here because we're at a trade show and people love to just show what they can do on drums all the time, right? Squeak-free Speed King, yeah, it totally is, Spags, so you don't have to worry about it squeaking over time. Yeah, they made sure they did some R&D with that to make sure that they don't start squeaking and getting pretty crazy, right? Because that was what they were known for. Or this squeaky hi-hat stand was the more direct thing, right? That's what Bonham always had to deal with. I had to put my earplugs in because now I can hear myself and not have to scream at you guys as much. So with that, let me know, what was your favorite drum out of the ones that you could hear? I would love to know. If you have any other questions, leave it all in the comment section below. Also, let me know, did you like this live setting? Is this something that you would like to see more on a regular basis? Obviously not in an exhibitor hall that's super loud all the time, but maybe in my space as I'm playing through stuff, going through the drums. Let me know, leave it all in that comment section below so we can, and I can continue to make content for y'all that is enjoyable that you want to do. Look, someone sat on the Vistalite kit, so you can hear it a little bit. Again, sounds unreal for that. So with that, all the snares were sweet. Bronze Acro and the Hammered Black Beauty. Yeah, I agree with you, Omar. That Acro Bronze is by far my favorite in the Acro line. 1 year here at PASIC, when they introduced the Acro series, they had the aluminum shell, the brass shell, the bronze shell, and the copper shell all lined up in tune around the same, which was that medium high tension that I'm a fan of. And without question, tapping them all like I was doing here earlier, the Acro Bronze stood out to me because it had that bodiness of brass, but it was a little bit more direct, which for me I was a huge fan of, especially when I don't want to put tapes or moon gels on anything. Spags, yeah, cool. It's really good to hear that you guys like this live feed. Maybe we'll start integrating this in from time to time and diving into some more intricate stuff rather than a pre-recorded video. Yeah, Wade, I'm with you, the Acro Bronze. Yeah, even being interested in the Dixon high-end stuff. Greg Bissonette is actually presenting here at PASIC. He's closing out all of PASIC later today. So of course he'll have a Dixon kit and his Bud snare drum, which will be pretty dope for sure. Yeah, cool, thank you so much. And hopefully y'all can still hear me with this, and that's working. Looking at the feed, it looks like we can. So with that, make sure that you like the video. Continue to let me know what you'd like to see here on the channel. And yeah, thank you all for the continued support. Enjoy the rest of your day. If any of you are here at PASIC, come find me. I'd love to meet you in person. Come say hey. And then we can go from there. What's Spags saying? Had a Dixon kit that was awesome. Want it bigger. 20, 10, 12, 14. You know, if it was maybe Vistalite, you would have been fine with the 20, 10, 12, 14, and you would have got some bigger sounds out of it. Kind of like the one over here, right? You know what? I'll let the folks at Ludwig know, the Ludwig drumsticks, bring them back with the drum heads. I'll say there's some folks here subscribed and checking this out and saying, yo, they'd love to see that again. So, with that being said, thank you so much for everybody checking this out. I will see you all next Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Later on.